Hi friends, I am putting together my herb walk video and just want to give a little intro to it. Some of the information shared in the herb walk is actually all of it is for educational purposes only. I am not a medical professional. I am a licensed holistic practitioner, herbalist, and PhD student in training in herbal medicine, but that does not mean I am a licensed medical professional giving health advice. I am sharing with you education. So enjoy the herb walk, and please like, subscribe, hit the bell button, comment, and check out my description down below where you'll find my link tree, which links to everything that is me. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm starting with dandelion today, and the Latin, you want to write this down, is Taraxacum officinale, Taraxcum, and then officinale, Officinale, and I'm going to have to fight with it. So, who eats dandelion?
Here and there.
Okay, the greens, eat the greens.
Spring salad has them. Some of the spring salads are.
These are very poor specimens, I would say. Interesting thing about dandelion is when you see them low to the ground, like these are, growing with short stems, that means the soil is actually not very rich. When they have nice, big, tall stems, big flowers, big leaves, you have rich soil. Dandelions actually like to land where the soil is poor, and they will help enrich the soil in that area. If you want to look back there, you can see all along the edge of this path here, there's like clumps of them. Now, before they mowed, I think over in that area the dandelions were much higher, much better. Maybe they had to fill or something, or they were pushing. They probably had to do a lot of moving of the dirt here to put this paving in, so there's probably some fill or something that makes the soil not as good. I would not eat these. You can also see by the leaves, and I'll pass this around, they have like a rust kind of look. Your dandelions will pull toxins out of the soil. So if you're looking to collect dandelions in your yard, they also like gardens. So if you have a garden, they will find their way into the garden, and they usually grow really nice there. But look at the leaves and pick ones that are green without those rust spots, because that's some toxins that the roots have pulled up out of the soil. So they're going to filter the soil. When they die back, they're going to enrich the soil, and over time, and it's a long time, over a long time, they will make the soil better in the area that you leave them undisturbed. So our yard, for instance, was all fill, where we live right now, and when we moved there were 0 dandelions. The previous owners sprayed everything. There was like no plants, no wild indigenous plants growing, and of course we didn't spray, and within a year or two there were dandelions. And my next door neighbor, she was all freaked out that I was not spraying the dandelions because they were drifting over to her yard. But I think she soon got used to it. So now, like currently right now, our yard is like filled with dandelions, and I have patches that are now growing deep. The roots are bigger, the leaves are larger, the stem is larger, but there are some sections where the soil hasn't been enriched enough yet, and I still have these short little dandelions, and I don't pick them. So I was just saying, Amy, to look for the leaves you want to pick are green. They don't have these rust spots, and I usually dig mine up out of my garden in the spring before I plant the plants that I want to plant. And you never usually get all of the root. So I did pass this around. As you can see, here is some of the root. Actually, you might have got almost all of the root. That's a pretty short root.
Is that the tap root?
Yeah.
Main root.
The main root.
There's the bottom.
Usually, though, with a big, good-sized dandelion, you are not going to get the whole root. And if you leave root in the soil, it's going to come back. And it probably will even come back that same year. All right, so let's talk about parts. And my mom was saying, dandelion is an interesting plant. Not that they aren't all interesting, but you can eat every single part of the dandelion, and I would say it's considered safe. You're not going to see websites warning you about dandelions, except in that it's like an obnoxious weed or something. But there's a lot of herbal fear out there online. I tell people, don't look for your information by Googling it. You want to have good old-fashioned plant books, herb books. But dandelion, you're not going to find anything to really scare you about taking or eating this. So the flowers can be made into tea, and I make I think I have a video on it. I'm pretty sure I do. So if you were to go to sheep hill herbs, or go to YouTube and you type sheep hill herbs dandelion, you'll find every video I made with dandelions. But I make it like I would make the tea to make dandelion wine. And you use raisins and cinnamon and like a little bit of clove. It's so good. So you can use the flowers to make this tea. You can make wine with the flowers. You can make fritters with the flowers, which are... Did you make cookies?
Yeah.
Did we do that at class?
No.
Okay. I'm like,
we were doing stuff.
I probably did that at one point too. But yeah, cookies. I mean, you can use these petals. You can pull them off and put them in your salad. And they have the properties of helping your liver, helping your kidneys. All of the yellow, like spring plants, are good for the organs that go around your midsection, mainly digestive herbs. So then you have your leaves, which, if they have good soil, so it's not like an automatic, they're rich in vitamins and minerals. The soil does matter. So in the right soil conditions, you have your leaves, which are a great source of iron and potassium and mineral salts and all kinds of other vitamins. They're also your kidney purifying herbs. And I would say starting in spring, like now, making it a daily thing to have a salad of dandelion greens is a good idea. And continue it as long as you can into the summer. Once the flowers blossom, the leaves are more bitter, so they're not as tasty as when they first come up without the flower. But if you add like maybe a little maple syrup to your dressing or balsamic vinegar, I think that, I'm fine with them being bitter.
Even onion. You put onion in, for some reason onion takes away some of the bitterness with the oil and vinegar.
Yeah. Yeah, or some people like fry them a little bit. And then you have the root. And so the roots, you can dig up your roots. You can cut your roots, wash your roots, dry them. I have a video on that. And dandelion root is, not that it's not good for the kidneys or bladder, it's typically your purifying herb for your liver. And so just like you spring clean your home, your dandelions and a lot of your spring herbs are going to spring clean your body after heavier foods that we've eaten all winter long. So anybody drink dandelion tea? Dandelion root tea? Yeah. I would say if you guys are homesteading, gardening, it's a fun exercise. Dig up your dandelion roots, wash them, and you chop them into like 1 inch or 1/2 inch pieces and let them dry. And then it's really, I don't know. I think dandelion root tea is really good. Do you guys like it?
My dandelion are at least this high, I think, and they have the root looks like a little carrot almost. It's so big because the plant is so big.
Do you just let them air dry for a certain
I
period
let
of
them
time,
air
or-
dry on paper towels. You could put them in a dehydrator, but that's what I usually do, or paper bags. It depends. It takes a lot of dandelion roots to get even an ounce dried. I usually just buy my roots. Dandelion mixed with chicory root is a really good coffee substitute. The roasted chicory root gives it this like caramely, smoky flavor. The dandelion by itself, because it is a root, it has like a sweetness in the starch content, and with a little bit of milk and honey, I think it's delicious. I had someone once say to me, I don't think they ever had it. They commented on video. They're like, how can you pretend that dandelion tastes good? Why don't you just be honest and say it tastes bad? And I'm like, it doesn't taste bad. I think it tastes good. That's why I said, do you like it? I think you have to get a taste for for natural foods versus processed.
Taste, yeah.
So there's a great book that I use all the time now. I don't know if one of you told me about this book, but if you do not have this book, I would suggest getting it. Culpepper's Complete Herbal by Nicholas Culpepper. The original book is probably I don't know, over $1,000 or something. I'm guessing because it was written in the 1600s.
Okay.
This is the edited version by Stephen Foster, who he does. He edits a lot of herbal books, makes his own commentary, but I love this book. It's great. It doesn't have photograph pictures. It just has botanical drawings. So I often like to cross-reference with a book that has the photographs, but wanted to share two or maybe just one quote here about dandelion from this book, and it goes like this. You see, if I can read my handwriting, you see now what virtues this common herb hath, and that is the reason the French and Dutch so often eat them in the spring. And now if you look a little farther, you may see plainly without a pair of spectacles that foreign physicians are not as selfish as ours are, but more communicative of the virtues of plants to people. So that was Nicholas Culpepper in England, referring to not foreign as in American physicians, but probably Eastern physicians. And that's sort of like the premise of sharing this information and giving it to you guys is, the corporations. Okay, so maybe I could have a helper pick for me. Amy, do you know the mugwort?
No, that one I don't.
Okay, how about let's start with the mustard.
The yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody want to? Someone want to grab me a piece of that? Okay.
You just want to
Just break off a stem.
Okay.
The mugwort is right there. That. That woolly looking thing.
But how's that?
That's good.
Just want a bigger piece.
No, that's good. Okay. So this is wild mustard greens. I want to go to my notes, but I will just talk about it. So I have herb students make, it's called the Materia Medica, and you can do it basically any way you want. I use a journal and I do pictures and drawings and all kinds of notes about, it's like an art journal for me. So garlic mustard. I was looking to see if I had the Latin name. I do. All right, I'm gonna spell it. Alaria petiolata is Allaria, and then petiolata. But I like some of the common names better. One of them is Sauce Alone. The other is Jack by the Hedge. And Sauce Alone is because this plant, the leaves, would be ground up, probably a mortar and pestle at one point, not a blender, and made into a sauce for fish or some other kind of dish. I think this is safe here. So, if you want to, it's bitter, not so much mustardy. If you want to grab a leaf and just try it, it's very bitter. But the bitterness is good for digestion. We don't eat enough bitters. Now, the seed of this plant will be the mustard seed, and it's not seeded yet. The green leaves, like the dandelion, are better before the flowering has occurred. And you kind of have to be quick with the dandelion and the mustard because they do flower really fast. So it's like the leaves come up, you pick them, and then they're flowering within a week or so. So topically, this plant can be used as a poultice, or let's say you're mashing up a poultice is basically you have a mashed plant, chopped up, mashed, or blended, applied to wounds. So it was historically used, not now, for ulcers, for wounds. It's antiseptic. Mustard powder from the seed is the famous mustard plaster that is used to open the bronchioles. And if you do apply mustard seed, or like let's say you have mustard powder to the skin in any part of your body, you want to put some olive oil or other plant oil on your skin first. It makes your skin bright red. It brings heat to the area, but it burns. So you don't want to burn yourself with mustard seed, but works really well for any kind of deep congestion. Really brings that circulation to the lung area. You can also soak your feet in mustard, dried mustard. Do you know those older images of a sick person sitting with their feet in a bucket of something? Well, that was probably mustard tea. And in the wintertime, we use that remedy pretty often. The leaves are also a vermifuge. So that means they expel parasites and worms. Part of this spring cleaning of the body is to get rid of parasites. We should be eating bitters year round. Our culture, I think it's like an epidemic that people have parasites. I get a lot of questions about herbs for parasites. People buy my black walnut tincture. I guess it's like, that must be on the internet. Like doing a parasite cleanse seems very popular right now. You can use mustard, the mustard leaves for that. Okay, I would like to not be staring at the sun. Do you want to get me one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is mugwort. And if you just, if you take it in your hands and kind of like bruise the leaves and rub the scent on your hands, breathe it in. This will help you sleep tonight. Hopefully.
I need it.
It should.
We both need it. I don't know what sleep is.
Put it under your pillow.
So this is Artemisia vulgaris. It's called the dream herb.
That smells better.
You can make tea with it. You can smoke it.
Oh.
You can make smudge sticks with it and burn the smudge sticks. We had a class I think I did it like 2 years ago where we made smudge sticks. I have video on that too. But basically you need the fresh leaves and you wrap them wet and let them dry. But just like a smudge stick with sage, you can make them with mugwort. And mugwort is the herb that helps you to have a good night's sleep. Among others, but I really find this one works well for me. The tea is weird. I don't want to say it's unpleasant, but it's a weird taste, and you can kind of tell just by smelling it. It's unusual, but very relaxing. So
Almost smells like a marigold.
Yeah.
oh,
That's what I was.
yeah, you're right. I don't know if I have any notes on
Which
mugwort.
marigold is weird if you get it on you and taste your fingers and
Yeah,
stuff.
it smells like marigold.
So I don't know if I have notes in here on that one, but the one time I went to this, like, I usually try to find places where you can just like find plants. They're like no trespassing places. Fields.
Night hawking.
Go look for plants, and I went to this one. I went down this lane, and actually I think it was a public lane because it was a pipeline, but I got back there, and as far as the eye could see, up the hill and down was all mugwort. It was so awesome.
Wow.
And I just like walked through all of the plants, and just it was an amazing experience. So, like, you think of lavender fields, but it was a mugwort field, and definitely something for the senses. And I know I slept well that night. All right. So, any questions so far? This is garlic mustard, and I just made a video. I'm like obsessive about videos. It is in flower. Go ahead and pick some.
There's no other
So, I don't know if anybody see a theme with the plants that I've shared so far right now. Oh,
look like weeds.
they look like weeds.
Detox.
Detox.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to eat a leaf, the
That tastes like garlic.
spring herbs are bitter. A lot of bitters. Not very mustardy, but it is garlicky.
Mhm.
And I love this plant, especially before it flowers. This actually doesn't taste as bitter as I thought.
Are you
It would
drying this, or what are you doing with it?
No, it's very succulent. It's juicy, like jewelweed. So I don't really dry my like succulent plants. I actually usually only take advantage of it in this time of year and don't save it. But if I were, and I do with some of the other succulents, blend it. You can make it into a sauce, put it in the freezer. I just had someone message me, I think one of the herbal students, she made a pesto with it.
Can you use that much of it? Seems like it would be very moving.
Yeah, it might be. It's gonna clean you out.
That's what I mean. Clean out. Just reminds me that it would be. Does it taste like pesto pretty good?
I did not try it, but
I guess
it doesn't have the basil taste.
Okay.
The one time I did a class and we made pestos with all kinds of green leaves. I had nettles, I had chickweed. If you add the garlic and even just a little bit of basil and parsley, like they all taste like good pestos. So this herb, again, even though it doesn't have the yellow flower, that is like a signal for the organs around the midsection, which you have your pancreas and your spleen and liver and gallbladder, kidneys, for cleansing. This is obviously a white flower, but the bitterness is what indicates that it's going to help in that same way, for cleansing the body. This plant was used as a common pot herb or salad green for early American settlers. It spreads like crazy, can take over areas. I think it's kind of considered invasive. Now, I don't think it is really a problem because so much of the land is cleared. But look for it. It comes up in mid-March. It's one of the first plants that comes up. You'll notice these leaves, the shape has this, like, I guess if you turn it upside down, like heart shape in March. Few inches high, very delicate, tastes the best at that time of year. And you could add them to salad with some of your other greens. You don't have to just eat it plain. But you have a salad in your backyard if you have a yard to gather. All right. Okay. You might want to take a close look. This is a great specimen here. This is chickweed. This plant is like synonymous with spring. It smells like spring to me. If you want to grab a piece.
Easy. It is really easy. Roots must be real surfacey.
It's very, very
so
shallow.
easy.
Yeah. When you pick it, you often are pulling it up by the roots.
What benefits does this have?
Okay. So, first of all, it is Stellaria media. So that's Stellaria media, media. And all parts are edible. It only gets these real little flowers, white flowers at the top. They're starting to flower, and the roots are so small. We're not really using the root in any significant way. So it's really the stem and the leaves. The whole plant is like cut. You can add it to salads. So it's another one of those like salad greens, rich in vitamins and minerals. But the unique thing about chickweed, now I've been talking about like kidney cleansers and liver cleansers. This plant is a blood cleansing herb. So if you have skin conditions, this plant helps with all kinds of skin eruptions. And it can be applied topically. So chickweed ointment is I would say it's like an Amish or Mennonite remedy, commonly used. You can dry the greens. They really shrivel up. That's how you make the ointment. You don't want to make the ointment with the fresh green. So I'll dry like a quart jar of it and then have that to be able to make ointment throughout the year. Some years, if I'm really motivated, I will pick handfuls of this, and it's hard to juice. So what I do is I blend it, like a cup of the greens with a cup of water. Blend it in your blender, squeeze out the pulp, and drink the green juice. So it's like liquid chlorophyll. That's very cleansing. If you want to know, like, if you're worried about amounts, I would say start with like a shot glass, and every day increase, like two shot glasses, couple, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, maybe getting up to 8 ounces. But if you were going to do one thing for like spring cleaning, I would say, well, dandelion is close tie, but I would do chickweed. The Bible says the life is in the blood. We harbor a lot, or can harbor a lot, of toxins in our bloodstream, bacteria, virus, other stuff. So you really want to clean out the bloodstream. So topically, as a salve, it can be used for eczema, hives, shingles, varicose veins, rashes. A strong decoction, or if you take a number of shots of it, is helpful for constipation. Topically, it can draw out boils, splinters. This is an herb I usually blend into ice cube, put it in an ice cube tray, and then after it freezes, put the ice cubes into freezer bags so that I have this for the skin throughout the year. And now that I'm talking about it, I definitely want to make the juice. It's actually also very good to balance hormones. So we have 3 herbs that are like for 3 phases of life for hormone balancing. They're like a trio. Now there's more that balance, but there's chickweed, then we have motherwort, then we have mugwort. So I talked about the mugwort. The chickweed is for like the adolescent years. Not that you can't have it after past that point. Motherwort is usually for the parenting years, and then mugwort for our crone years or older years. So I do like to give mugwort or chickweed to my kids who are approaching adolescence. Some of them are almost through. It keeps their skin from breaking out, cleanses their liver, their blood. And interesting thing, my one son, he like ever since he was little, like would just eat this plant. He just like loves it. And I do this thing, it's called a compass scan. And a couple times I did the scan, it came up that he needed chickweed. So the scan works where it tells you which herbs your body needs. And I just think it's funny because sometimes people like intuitively are just drawn to a plant. And then like I like getting that confirmation because his scan would say like chickweed for him. I'm like, he already knows that. He's been eating that. So look for this.
He eats everything green. He walks by everything and it goes.